What's going on, Park Hoppin? Welcome back to the channel. And today it appears, after all the fighting, after all the ruckus, all the shenanigans that's been happening over at Walt Disney World here in Orlando, they've updated the list of things that'll get you kicked out of the park. And the majority of stuff that would get you kicked out is basically common sense. Use your common sense. You know, like, can't bring a gun into the park, can't bring a knife, a sword, like stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I understand that. It's common sense, but I guess it appears they've got to remind people yet again. This coming from Inside the Magic. They kind of took the lists and just put the most important ones on the list because a lot of it is common sense. So we're going to go through it real quick so you know what could get you kicked out of the park. They have updated it with the Galactic Star Cruiser. It's kind of funny. Items you can't bring in, of course, again, a lot of this is common sense. Firearms, ammunition, knives, weapons, marijuana, illegal substances, stuff that looks like firearms, fireworks, no alcoholic beverages unless you brought them from a resort or the Galactic Star Cruiser. They just threw that in there. I guess because people can get alcohol from the Star Cruiser and then be shipped out to Hollywood studios, and they're like, this is my Star Cruiser cup, everyone. It's filled with cheap booze. This is interesting. Horns, whistles, megaphones. I mean, I did see a couple whistles in there, but, you know, skateboards, bikes, rollerblades. Now, some resorts will let you bring your bike because they have bike trails and stuff. Just check on that if you wanted to bring a bike. These also, you know, they don't want you to engage in unsafe acts and stuff like that. It's pretty much common sense. Don't hang any clothing or towels or bedding over balconies, you know, or from the fire suppression sprinklers. Just throwing that out there. I guess some people hang towels and stuff to dry off. I get that. I get that one. But from the fire sprinkler, like, really? Don't obstruct sidewalks. This is a problem. Like, people do that anyway. They just get tired and they just sit wherever. They don't care about any surroundings. So hopefully they'll set that up, because, like, if you've seen some of the live streams, just trying to walk through certain areas, people just sit down and plop anywhere, you know, on steps, on right in the middle of the walkways. They just don't care. They're like, I'm tired. There's an empty spot on the ground where millions of people have walked. I don't care what's been on their shoe. I'm sitting on it. Just saying. Now this is where, you know, we get into some of the funny stuff. These are general rules to follow. Obviously, don't steal. Don't use rude gestures. No propaganda. No propaganda. Why would you buy a theme park ticket with your friends to go and start propaganda? Don't spread propaganda. Political propaganda. I mean, there's better ways that you'll get kicked out. Put it that way. Ashes. Don't go to Disney World with your dead relatives' ashes or friends or whoever. This has been some kind of an urban legend in the Disney community, but they had to make it a rule. I guess it says here it's a popular myth, but people used to go to the Haunted Mansion and dump out ashes of their dead loved ones in that ride. Or they've also had people, from what I've heard, and some people might say, yeah, it's true, or they're just trying to cover it up, that the ashes in their urn or box or whatever, they just kind of toss it in. Here you go, Grandma. Here's your wish. You're in the Haunted Mansion forever. Just kind of toss the box in, you know? Or like other parts of Disney where it's like Disney was such a wonderful place forever. Now for me, you could take my ashes and dump them in the toilet and flush. So every time people use the toilet at Disney World or one of these theme parks, they can think of James. Just kidding. Just kidding. But yeah, that seems to have been a thing where people were putting their ashes or a box of ashes or urns into the Haunted Mansion. Basically, they're saying this. Just remember, even on a dark ride like the Haunted Mansion, Disney is always watching you. Yeah, I don't know why people forget that. There are cameras everywhere at these theme parks. I mean, everywhere. All right, they're watching you on all these rides. There are people, their entire life is to watch these screens and watch people riding these rides. If you attempt to do this, Disney will stop the attraction, sweep and toss the ashes, and you will need to leave the park. Imagine that. Grandma, I got you, Grandma. Whoosh. The Haunted Mansion is temporarily stopped. And they send little Billy out there, you know, college student. Hey, we have a job for you. I'm sorry. For some, it's not funny. But for me, it's like, yeah, we need you to sweep up these ashes. Well, what is that? Don't ask. Just do it and toss them away. Excessive drinking. Now, all I gotta say is, have these people been to Epcot? You can't really do so much Magic Kingdom, but Epcot during these food festivals have a lot of alcohol everywhere. And if you stay at Epcot long enough during one of these festivals, let me tell you, it gets quite entertaining. On one of my live streams, I was in Epcot in the Canada, over by the Canada side, and there's a group of 10 people that have had way too much Disney alcohol, and they were trying to cram themselves in the phone booth that's way in the back of Canada. A lot of people don't go to this part of Canada. They have a phone booth there that you can get inside. And they cram people all the way. They even put like a little child. It was all on the live stream, like at the top. And they're screaming and they've had too much to drink. And they just couldn't get that door. And I'm like with the live stream going, they're going to bust it. Finally, someone came over, told them to stop. Yeah. You know, so don't do that. But it is quite entertaining. Smoking has actually been banned from Disney parks in the US for quite some time. If you want to smoke, guests can find designated smoking areas outside the park. Universal, I think, has smoking areas. I thought Disney had a couple sections you could stop and smoke outside. I need to check on that because I could swear that there's a couple spots. And I might be wrong. Maybe I'm just thinking Universal and other theme parks, but Universal has like little sections you can go that's designated. You know, if you just got to get one last drag, one last drag. The smoking sections are always like interesting to look at. You just see the people that are just like, oh my God, why am I here? Fighting. Yeah. Don't fight. There's been a lot of fights at Disney World recently. And the problem is you don't really see much that happens afterwards. So hopefully they'll get a handle on that. I go to the parks all the time hoping to catch a fight on camera because honestly, they don't want people like me involved. I could get sued. Can you imagine that? I could get sued for breaking up an altercation at a theme park. So that's why they tell people don't get involved and don't put your hands on anyone. That's why people record it, just for the court reasons at that point. It's crazy. Now, if I'm wrong on that, and you're a cast member or you're an executive, let me know in the comment section below. But every one of my friends and family that work there have told me this. They're like, they don't want people involved. Their job is to keep the normal people away from breaking it up. They usually just let the fight continue until like the regular police show up. That's kind of crazy. Sneaking into areas you're not supposed to be in, of course. Jumping out of a ride. Why would you do this? Why would you do this? For TikTok? For whatever? To get banned for life? Cutting in line. Man, let me tell you something. For those that go to theme parks, tell me, every line that you're in, is there not like a couple people that just walk past you while you've been in line for like 30 minutes and you have no idea how they're doing it? They're just like, excuse me, pardon me. They just walk up to the front of the line. I'm like, they might have like little Billy, been waiting in line for 2 hours. So they're like, all right, we're going to get a drink. We're going to get a bathroom, going to get a pretzel. And then we'll just catch up to Billy. I think they should cut down on that stuff. They need to check on that stuff. Because this happens way too often. They put someone in line, and they're okay to wait, while the rest of their party goes and gets popcorn and ice cream and all kinds of stuff. And then they cut through the entire line to get to that party. That's just me. Maybe be like, Jay, that's not nice. You know, that's their party there. Maybe I'm wrong. I just think to me, that's kind of annoying. Because one time I was in line for Rise of the Resistance. And this happened over and over and over. And I'm like, where are all these people? Must have been almost 50 people just walked in front of me because they put someone like their dad just stood in line while the rest of them went and had fun and came back and caught them up. Anyway, not wearing a mask. This has kind of been, I mean, they usually have cast members saying, can you please put a mask on? If anyone's like rude to the cast members, they usually are asked to leave. So this does this whole thing about the type of face covering you're supposed to wear when you go. Honestly, I feel that this stuff is coming to an end this year. The people that I've spoken to, that the face covering stuff is going to come to an end probably before the summer. I really believe that. I could be completely wrong, but I am going to state that the face coverings at the theme parks, especially Disney, is gonna go by the summer. Summer's my deadline. They want people to come to the park. One of these theme parks, they're gonna say no face coverings, no masks, come here, and people will flock there. I just have this feeling. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I just think the summer is the deadline. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, was there anything that I forgot? At the end of the day, please use your common sense. Or I will catch you being kicked out of the park on camera. And that will make for a great video with tons of views for me. This is Jay with Park Hoppin. No propaganda.